Here's something that's going to bother you. You already know you should be saving money. You know you should be investing. You know that buying things you don't need is draining your future. You've probably read articles about it, maybe watched videos, maybe even made a budget before. And yet, somehow, the money still disappears. And the crazy part? This isn't happening to just broke people. It's happening to doctors, engineers, people earning six figures, people who are genuinely smart, people who understand money on paper but somehow can't get it right in real life. So here's the question that should be keeping you up at night. What if the problem isn't your income? What if the problem isn't your willpower? What if the problem is literally inside your skull, running silently in the background, making financial decisions before your rational brain even gets a vote? Because that's exactly what's happening. And once you understand it, you'll never look at your money habits the same way again. We've been sold a very comfortable lie about money. The lie goes like this: if you just learn enough about personal finance, you'll make better decisions. Read the books, watch the videos, understand compound interest, know the difference between assets and liabilities, and then, magically, you'll start behaving differently. But here's the brutal truth. Knowledge alone almost never changes behavior. Think about it. Every single person who has ever eaten fast food at midnight knew it wasn't healthy. Every person who skipped the gym knew they should have gone. And every person who impulse bought something they couldn't afford knew, in that moment, it was probably a bad idea. Knowing and doing are two completely different departments in the human brain. And when it comes to money, those two departments are constantly at war, and the wrong one keeps winning. Here's why. Your brain was not designed for modern finance. Seriously. Think about where your brain comes from. Tens of thousands of years of human evolution. A time when the biggest financial decisions your ancestors made were things like, do I eat this food now or save it for later? And almost always, the smart answer was, eat it now, because there might not be a later. That survival instinct is still inside you. It got passed down, and it has a name in behavioral economics. It's called present bias, the tendency to overvalue what's in front of you right now and dramatically undervalue what's coming in the future. Let me show you how this plays out in real life. Imagine you're offered two choices. Option A, you get $100 today. Option B, you get $110 next week. Logically, you should pick option B. $10 extra for waiting 7 days is a fantastic return. But most people? They take the $100 today. Now here's where it gets strange. Ask those same people, would you rather have $100 in a year or $110 in a year and 1 week? Almost everyone picks the 110 because both options feel equally far away, so the extra $10 suddenly matters. Same math, same gap. Completely different decision. And this is your brain playing tricks on you. The moment something feels immediate, your emotional brain takes the wheel and your rational brain gets shoved into the back seat. That's why you swipe the card for the jacket you didn't plan to buy. That's why you order delivery instead of cooking. That's why the retirement account feels optional, but the concert tickets feel urgent. It's not weakness. It's not stupidity. It's your ancient brain doing exactly what it was built to do, just in the completely wrong environment. The second trap. Loss aversion. But present bias is only the beginning. There's a second force working against you, and this one is arguably even more powerful. It's called loss aversion, and the research behind it is fascinating. Studies in behavioral psychology have found that losing something feels about twice as painful as gaining the same thing feels good. Let that sit for a second. Losing $50 hurts roughly twice as much as winning $50 feels good. This creates an invisible force field around your money habits. Think about your investment account. The market drops 10%. Suddenly, you can't sleep. You're checking your phone every hour. You're tempted to pull everything out and move it to cash just to make the pain stop. But when the market goes up 10%, you barely notice. Maybe a quick smile. Maybe nothing. That emotional imbalance, where pain hits twice as hard as pleasure, explains why so many people make the worst investing decisions at exactly the wrong moment. They sell when everything is crashing, which is precisely when they should be buying. And they sit on the sidelines when everything is booming, too afraid of getting in at the wrong time. Loss aversion doesn't just hurt your investing. It affects how you negotiate your salary. It's why you stay in financial situations that aren't working, a business idea that's losing money, a subscription you never use, a job that's underpaying you. Because the pain of change feels bigger than the pain of staying stuck. You're not being irrational. You're being perfectly rational for a brain that was built in a world where every loss could literally mean not surviving. The problem is that world doesn't exist anymore, but the wiring does. The third trap, social comparison. Here's where things get personal. There's a third force sabotaging your money decisions, and it's the one nobody wants to admit. It's called social comparison, and it's the financial equivalent of a slow leak in your tire. Humans are deeply, almost helplessly, wired to compare themselves to others. It's not vanity. It's another ancient survival mechanism. In early human tribes, your social status literally determined your access to resources. Being seen as successful mattered for survival. Fast forward to today. You get a raise. You feel great. Then you find out your colleague got a bigger raise. Suddenly, your raise feels like a loss. You buy a nice car. You're happy. Then your neighbor buys a newer one. Now yours feels outdated. This is why lifestyle inflation is so dangerous and so predictable. Every time your income goes up, your reference group expands. You start comparing yourself to people who earn more, spend more, and signal success differently. And without realizing it, your spending follows. Social media turned this up to an impossible level. You're not just comparing yourself to your neighbors anymore. You're comparing yourself to a curated highlight reel of thousands of people simultaneously. The vacation, the watch, the apartment, the restaurant, none of which reflects their actual financial reality. The most dangerous part? Most of the people you're comparing yourself to are also broke. They're financing the lifestyle. They're making the same mistake, just with better photography. So let's zoom out and look at what's really happening. Your brain has 3 default settings when it comes to money. It wants to consume now rather than save for later. It feels losses far more sharply than gains. And it constantly benchmarks your financial choices against what the people around you appear to have. None of these are character flaws. All 3 are features, not bugs. They helped your ancestors survive. But they are absolutely catastrophic in a world where wealth is built slowly, quietly, and through decades of consistent, boring, unsexy decisions. The people who build real financial security aren't smarter than you. They aren't immune to these instincts. They've just built systems that make their brain's default behavior work for them instead of against them. Here's a concrete way to think about it. Willpower is like a phone battery. It starts full in the morning. Every decision you make drains it a little. By the end of the day, your brain is running on 10%. And that's exactly when you're making the biggest spending decisions. Dinner, online shopping, late-night subscriptions. This is not a coincidence. the smartest financial move isn't to try harder. It's to design your environment so you don't have to use willpower at all. So what do you actually do with this information? First, automate everything you can. When your savings transfer automatically on payday, your present biased brain never sees the money. It can't miss what it never held. This one change, more than any budget spreadsheet, more than any motivational video, is what separates people who actually build wealth from people who intend to. Automate your savings. Automate your investments. Make the boring future you decision before your present. You get a chance to vote. Second, reframe losses as the cost of building something real. When your investments drop, that's not money you lost. That's the price of admission for the long-term returns you're going to earn. Every serious investor has watched their portfolio fall and had to resist the urge to run. The ones who stayed are the ones who built wealth. The ones who ran locked in their losses and never recovered the opportunity. Third, change your comparison group deliberately. This sounds simple, but it's genuinely powerful. Stop following accounts that make you feel like your life isn't enough. Start surrounding yourself, online and offline, with people who talk about net worth instead of appearances, about financial independence instead of status symbols. Your brain will unconsciously adopt the standards of whoever is closest to you. So choose carefully. And fourth, understand that most of your money decisions are emotional, not logical. That's not a criticism. That's just how human brains work. The goal isn't to become a robot. The goal is to be honest with yourself in the moment. When you're about to make a financial decision, ask one simple question. Am I doing this because it moves me forward? Or am I doing this because something in my brain is trying to feel something right now? That pause, that single moment of awareness, is worth more than any spreadsheet. Here's the thought I want to leave you with. You were never failing at money because you lacked discipline. You were failing because nobody told you that your brain was playing a game with different rules than the ones you thought you were playing by. The financial system around you, the ads, the social feeds, the pressure to appear successful. That system is designed by people who understand behavioral psychology very, very well. They know about present bias. They know about loss aversion. They know about social comparison. And they use all of it, every single day, to influence where your money goes. The only way to win is to understand the game first. You now know why your brain does what it does with money. That awareness alone puts you ahead of the majority of people who are drifting through their financial lives, wondering why it never seems to work out. The question now is simple. Are you going to let your ancient brain run your modern financial life? Or are you finally going to take the wheel? If this made you think about your own money habits differently, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to go deeper on money psychology and wealth building, you know where to find us.